Hello, everybody, and welcome to Comics News Today. I am Chester C. Busby III, and I am joined by a very large panel today, and it's going to be awesome. We have some really, really good stories today, actually, to cover. And of course, we're always here to talk about comics and enjoy them as usual. Of course, as you will notice down below, we have our links not only to our FanSpeak page on Facebook, which we'd love for you to come join. That is growing, and people are putting in their opinions and ideas and the comics they're picking up. And this was a great week for comics, by the way. We also have our links for myself where we can get a hold of me and say, Chester, I want to be on this show because we want fans to be on the show. You can also contact me about being on the fan edition of Drawn and Quartered, or of course, one of our other guests here, Pixel, and we will put you into that rotation so you can get over there and be part of it because that is an absolutely awesome show and a lot of fun. And of course, talking about the fan edition of Drawn and Quartered, we do have the Pro edition today, and of course, tomorrow, Booster and I will be co-hosting the fan edition. Are you looking forward to that, Booster?
I'm always looking forward to Chester. I love winning that thing every time. You know, I always bring my A game, and I make the poll myself, and everyone votes for me. It's incredible. I love it.
A lot of people have been mentioning how quickly you've been improving. Actually, I think you probably want to back that up a little bit. It's less funny when you're almost good. You know.
I know. I've gone from so bad it's good to oh crap, he's trying now. It's just sad.
Yes. I agree. But anyway, thanks you for joining us today for the news, man. And of course, we also have with us the creator of Ignition himself, also a member of the Tales from Beyond the Gate team. We have Todd Mulrooney. How you doing today, man?
Oh, I'm doing really good. I found a couple guys in our community. I saw I saw them. I found them on Twitter, saw the covers of their books, and I was like, holy crap, these guys are really good. So I went digging a little deeper, saw some pages, and I got them involved in our Discord and told them, hey, just, get to know us all, and we'll have you on. And two books, Oddity, and what was the other one? Oh, crap, I forgot it. But Oddity looks really really fantastic. Definitely a different type of book, right? I would say I put it in the Cyberfrog type of category of
cool,
really different. Yeah.
Really well, actually, you very quickly, Todd, you have become our resource for getting guests, man. You've done an amazing job with that. Thank you very much. Between you and then Denali, just the amazing resource gathering with the news and stuff. We're really chugging along, man. So thank you a lot for that. And of course, always thank you to Denali. We're also joined by Pixel. We haven't seen Pixel in a little bit. Just glad to have him on here. How you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm doing good. It's been a little bit, but anytime I get a chance to come on, I try to.
Oh well, yeah. It's we're always happy to have you. And of course, since we have you here today, we'll certainly want to drag some information about what's going on in Unicron, because that's always exciting. What's happening there, and of course. Also, we are joined by the Denali Lama himself. How you doing there?
I'm doing awesome. Thank you, Chester. And hey, aloha, chat. How are you guys doing? Thank you for joining the stream. And talking about the Pro Edition, I believe it's going to be Aquaman themed tonight. So I don't know which character they'll be, but I believe it's Aquaman from seeing the Mike's tweets from earlier. So
yeah,
Aquaman.
Yeah. It should be
Most
cool.
likely it'll probably be Mira. Absolutely.
Well, they do prefer their females, which I like a good female illustration, but you gotta put those males in there every now and then too. Those are cool as well. But we'll see what they do. Of course, thank you very much for all the work that you did in 2018, Denali, and continuing into here 2019. And boy, did he find some good stories today, man. And of course, the last person on our panel we have with us is the chairman of the board himself, DeWolf. How you doing, man?
Hey, yeah, I'm doing all right. I'm not sure if my internet is doing okay. Apparently, there's a little ice storm, coming down, and that might cause me to kind of blink out every now and then.
Oh, no problem. I'll keep an eye on it and try to get you when we can. And I thought I heard a dazzler there in the background for a moment.
No. My wife brought me coffee, and so I can perk up for the show and keep my evening going as long as I can tonight. And also, though, Dazzler has received her Essential Dazzler trade paperback.
Ooh.
Nice. I haven't heard from her in about an hour since I gave it to her.
Sweet, dude. Yeah, I always enjoy having her on. It's always cute. Kids are always cute, but your 10-year-old is particularly clever one. So we can actually get actual information from her. So that's actually pretty cool. Go ahead, Todd.
My coffee has not come yet, so I'm kind of concerned.
Talking about coffee. Hey, baby, can I have some coffee? She said yes, and I'll get a kiss. I'll get a kiss with it when it comes too, I'm sure. And just so you know, Todd, Mama-san is a woman in charge of either a snack, a prostitute hole, or what have you. Don't call people's wives Mama-san. Yeah, no, snack is kind of like
prostitutes Mama-san.
The one in charge. It's a word for which means pimp. So let's not call my wife a Mama-san, Todd, or you're going to have to come to words, my friend.
So with all of us here, you're more like a Papa-san.
Oh yes.
Just a Papa-san.
Oh goodness, that's gonna stick. Damn it. But I do have to say thank you guys for coming, and let's go over here and see. We have Pope Fire in here. Hello. We have March here, who I absolutely love, and I wish would come on my show. We have our most favorite Told Joshua. Nice to see you, dude. Pixel, of course, is in here. We have Risey Lee. Howdy, y'all. My favorite man from Perth, and we found where he lived the other day, and he was very upset, but he probably forgot because he was really, really drunk. We also have let's see what else we got in here. We got Dave. Dave's in here. Yeah, Dave, I was looking at your Move the Needle pick. Dave puts videos up on the Fanspeak showing all the comics he picks up on the Wednesday. And, he got a good chunk of them today. It was really nice. I like that. All right. That's everybody that's in here. So thanks you guys for coming. And yes, Popefire is very excited about this week's Bunny Vision movie night. And we're doing Spaceballs. Absolutely, man.
Awesome. And just a reminder, we have Fanspeak this Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern, and we have Von Klaus, one of the winner of the Comicsgate Talent Search by John Malin. He's one of the writers. And he also has a project coming out this February as well.
Yes.
I think it's Monster MD, so it's going to be awesome.
Monster MD, yeah.
That sounds cool, dude.
He's going to be the writer of my 20 pages, so that's cool.
Ooh, nice.
Oh, sweet!
Yeah, I want that on upcoming for sure.
Yeah, no, that really sounds like it's a clever idea. I like it, and I like him too. We had him on the show the other day. Todd gave him a link the other day. He came in and talked just for a little while. I like that guy. He's easy to talk to. He's one of us, as it were. You know, our mindset of loving comics and being able to sit and chat with him. So that was really cool. I'm looking forward to having him, guys. So come back and check that out, of course. And of course, just before we jump into the news here, keep in mind that of course hitting that like button and subscribing is my requirement to say, or YouTube will come to my house and reprimand me, and I don't want that. But the thing that helps us the most actually is hitting that share button and letting your community and your family and friends know what's going on over here so they come join us and be part of it. But we're definitely going to jump in the news here because we have got a lot of it, and it is very cool. So make sure this is on top. Come over here, and let me share with our panel, of course. And a little bit of sad news to start the day out with, but and we've had a lot of these kind of things. What's going on here? Don't do that. Wow, it does not want me to do something. That's weird. Hold on a second. Uh-oh.
There you go.
Can you see it?
Well, we can't see it, but I can see it on the live stream.
Yeah, I don't know. Something's going on with that. I can't. So you guys just keep an eye on the live stream. But the first thing that's we're going to talk about is Mean Gene Okerlund has died. WWE Hall of Famer passes away at 76 years old. And, of course, you know, Mean Gene is, you know, a lot of us, we grew up with him. And I know there's many on the panel who did as well. I think we talk about Saturdays, and but he was a really fun guy. He was good at doing his job on the WWF, and he will certainly be missed. You guys got any comments about Mean Gene?
Wasn't he also WCW as well for a time?
Oh, he might well have been, yeah.
I think yeah. And because I remember that he had the incredible ability to be impassive and take everything serious and not laugh at the antics of the wrestler, especially I think in the WC era with Macho Man Randy Savage and Hulk Hogan when they're doing the Mega Power, and you could tell those two guys were high on drugs because you had Randy Savage turning around looking like, where am I? And talking so much crazy. He was like, yep, I know you guys are high, but I have a bit to do and I'm going to do it to the hilt.
So yeah, he was the ultimate straight man.
Yeah. He was great at it too. I'm going to drop out of the Hangouts real quick. That's not going to affect you guys to come back in because I'm having trouble getting that link to go to getting the share screen to go through. So I'm going to drop out real quick. You guys keep talking about Mean Gene, all right? All right. Well, I'm just going to come over here and jump back in. And that should do it just fine.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, I can see that. Kind of dressed the same too.
He's unfazable. Yep.
Right. But he was also willing to be the foil. You know.
You think
he didn't? Oh yeah, he didn't shy away from being mocked or picked on at the same time. You know. He was very.
Oh yeah. Very, yeah. Occasionally they did that with him, but they were still.
Yeah.
There's this zone of respect.
Yeah. You know what's funny is nobody could hear us because he was out of the hangout. So while we were all talking to each other, he couldn't pick up our audio, and so it was just dead air.
Oh, was it? Oh, that's too bad. That's too bad.
So they totally missed an Ollie doing the superpowers thing.
Oh, that's too bad. Sorry about that, guys. It's all working now. Everything's good now.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I've never seen that happen before, so it's weird.
Good job.
But good job. Thank you very much. But yeah, we just want to start out with showing a little bit of respect to Mean Gene Okerlund.
I got to bring it up to Super Dave Osborne, also 76, passed away today.
Yeah, Bob Einstein.
Man, I miss Super Dave. He had a great show, and his whole shtick about the basically the Evel Knievel that always failed kind of thing. It was just, man.
Yeah.
Ooh, I got hot coffee. Do I get a kiss too?
Damn, where's my coffee?
Oh, I got a
Where's
kiss.
my kiss?
I got a kiss blown to me across the room. I don't know. That's not the same. I guess I'll have to take it. Oh well. Anyway, let's move on to our next story here.
Yeah.
No, she's not at all, dude. Let me see here. Come over here. No, where is it?
Coffee pronto.
Yes, that's the reason you don't get coffee. Okay.
I was just yelling it to the air.
Okay. So go ahead, Danelli. Here's our next story, and Booster's going to love this one.
From CBR.com, Bendis hints at OMAC, Legion of Superheroes, and more in 2019.
Okay, Booster. We have Bendis here in front of a Nazi flag, so go ahead.
What's that? You want something from me?
I do. Yes, I do.
What is it, Chester? Am I just a one-trick pony to you? Is that it?
No, then I'm sorry. I will give you some energy. How's this? Although the writer's tradition of tantalizing images of upcoming project promises to the teasers are meant to delight and frustrate, there is more than enough to dissect and analyze.
Blah! Bendis! Oh, Bendis!
I really don't care, Bendis. You suck. How's that?
Everything he does is awful.
These guys. He's the same kind of mindset as Ryan Johnson, right? And there's a bunch of them, and they want things to be. They think that you can't have success unless it's negative, and there's hateful, angry things happening. You can't have happiness for heroes. All this kind of thinking. It's like, oh God, whatever. But anybody have anything they want to say about Mr. Bendis in 2019?
Go home.
Go home.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I do see we have Jimmy Ortiz over here. Hey, dude, how you doing? And Manny from Good Dog Press is in here as well.
Thanks for doxing me. Jimmy says. No, just kidding. Everybody knows
he's Jimmy. We also, I saw we had in here Bill from Argos Creations, Holy Grail, JP4 as well. Awesome, dude. Trusty Sidekick is in here. Hello.
Wait a minute. Someone else died at 76.
Who?
Daryl Dragon. Today. This is wacky. It's the sign of the apocalypse. That's crazy.
They usually come in threes, you know.
You know who Daryl Dragon is, though, don't you, Mr. Music Man?
Do I know who Daryl Dragon is? I don't know.
If you don't know, you should be ashamed.
I'm ashamed. Booster, I'm ashamed.
Well,
that's what he wears.
I guess.
Captain's hat. Does that help?
No, I have no clue, dude. You're not helping me. Who is he?
Call yourself a musician, Captain Tennille.
Oh my God, dude! What? Captain Tennille? Yeah. I didn't watch that nonsense. God, that was embarrassing. Captain Tennille. Is there an eject button around here somewhere? I gotta find it. Jeez, man. All right, moving on. For sure. This one right here, Janelle, tell them about it.
A major Heroes in Crisis revelations unfold in a Watchmen homage.
Homage is how you pronounce that, but whatever.
Homage.
Basically, what they're saying is Superman says, she sent it 35 seconds ago. And then over here we have Ozymandias saying, I did it 35 minutes ago. There's a connection because they use the word 35. And there probably is, actually. But boy, could I care less. I don't know.
It's pretty clear Tom King loves Watchmen. Because he's been trying to ape it ever since he started writing. Starting with Omega Men with that. And just about everything else he's written with that 9-grid panel and trying to do his all deconstructive superhero nonsense. So, yeah. He desperately wants to make another Watchmen, but Tom King, you're not Alan Moore. You're good. You're a B writer, but you're not bloody Alan Moore.
No, there aren't many that are, dude. And Manny wants to remind me that Captain and Tennille did Muskrat Love, and it is awesome. Okay. Yeah. Anybody else have an opinion on this?
Well,
I like Easter eggs.
Yeah, that's what it is, and it's cool.
Yeah, I like Easter eggs. Go ahead, put little things referencing other things. That's cool. If you're going to be doing something, at least something's in there entertaining.
Now, here's the thing. I haven't been reading the Heroes in Crisis personally. I've been seeing the fallout from it. But what is because everyone's hating on this Heroes in Crisis hard. What is it that people really don't, the fans don't like about this arc? What is it about Heroes in Crisis that has got everybody so frustrated?
It's just miserable.
The characters are a little out of character. Am I wrong, Booster?
Well, absolutely not. You're not wrong at all. It's they are all out of character. Everyone's just depressing. Booster Gold is acting. He's not fun or wacky. He's acting like a mentally ill patient, and so random. And everyone's dying. It screams of Dan Didio apologizing for DC being good for a year. It's like, oh, we had a good run with Rebirth. Time to murder everyone.
Well, Didio, I have said this before. Didio is the problem. Go ahead, Pixel. Wasn't that Pixel who was speaking?
No, that was.
Nope, I've been muted.
Pixel doesn't speak.
Yeah, Pixel just sits there.
Yeah.
No,
I sit here and wait for the opportunity to strike.
Oh, right. I see. Like a cobra.
No. Well, the other thing is. Well, the other thing that they don't like is they have this sanctuary where they videotapes their deep and darkest secrets, and fears and things like therapy sessions. And unfortunately, it happened. All this massacre has been happening at the sanctuary, and come to find out somebody has stolen all those recordings that were supposedly supposed to be destroyed the moment that the superhero finished talking, but didn't. Oh, Batman.
Which is like, then why bother recording it if it's destroyed as soon as they're done recording it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, what is...
Okay, so we all agree. Stupid. All right, next. Oh goodness, this.
I was going to say one more thing about that because it had Harley Quinn. They also reveal in the future that Harley Quinn is marrying Dick Grayson, Nightwing.
Oh, good.
All right, moving on.
I thought she was a lesbian now. What happened to that?
She's a little bi-curious.
No, she's bi-curious.
Actually, she's bi, and what you just said is bi-erasure.
What?
Okay. Someone shut up, Mister. No more speaking.
Bi-erasure is when you don't acknowledge that people can be bi. God.
All right, then. So next,
moving on.
Who's this guy? What happened to this guy?
Just moving on.
Dude. Oh my God. Go ahead, Denali.
Spider-Verse producer Philip Lord will put the Japanese Spider-Man in the sequel on one condition.
Oh no.
He wants 200 million domestic.
Yep.
Okay.
You'll get the campiness and wackiness of Spider-Man Japanese.
Boy, really don't care. Like, I mean, goodness.
Ultraman with webs.
Yes, I know.
He wants double. He wants double the budget that Captain Marvel has.
Yeah.
For this.
Well, the fact that it's done the fact that it's done so well, though, being an animated, and not being some Pixar cutesy, kiddie thing, it's doing really well. Actually, this movie is absolutely killing it.
They have to do it though. What happens if they don't do it? Then they're what?
Successful.
No, they're racist, of course.
Oh, racist. Oh, of course, Japanese. Yeah, as if the Japanese care about this at all. But whatever. I don't understand this. The whole concept of the Mega Man, Super Giant Spider-Man doing. I don't get it. Whatever.
So would it be a live version because they're supposedly doing all this different style corresponding to this Spider-Mans from different universes. So would it be live action in a animated like?
Oh God, I hope not. We're gonna be looking at a SpongeBob movie.
But hey, people are liking the movie. They're having fun, joking around, wanting a Spider-Man. This is all good fun. There's nothing wrong here at all. This is it's cool. I'm like I said before, I'm not really interested in it, but good on him, man. This is this is good news.
The only rub with the Spider-Man animated version is that one director supports Antifa, and that's the only thing.
Yeah, that's not the only thing. That is a huge thing. But hey, these companies and having all these people coming out on their social media saying these absolutely horrible, atrocious things, which we're going to get to one here a little bit later, they really need to nip this in the bud. They really need to. Marvel particularly, because they don't have a proper policy in place to deal with it. You cannot have your creators out there yelling and screaming at the audience. And I'm going to save that because there's an article we're going to talk about here later that covers it very well. And I think good hunting from you, Denali. It's a good article. So let's move on to this one, though, because we just went from, yay, fun with Spider-Man, Spider-Verse, awesome. And we're coming into absolute stupidity, Denali.
From Screen Rant, which wants us to rant all the time, Spider-Man admits Miles Morales may be the better hero.
I mean,
let's just laugh.
Should I just write a Batman fanfic where Bruce Wayne goes, "Wow, I mean Booster, you are a much better hero than me. You're so cool."
Okay,
this
Booster.
Just screams of very soon nonsense.
Booster, let's read this together. I will be Miles Morales, the awesome Miles Morales, and you be little baby Peter Parker over here. Okay?
I will.
Okay. And my Venom strike.
Whoa, that was amazing, Miles.
Too bad it's not enough.
Can I help?
Solus is out of your weight class, and stop using my real name. Okay. Here, continue.
Oh, geez, Miles. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to upset you.
I don't know what kind of Mad Max dystopia world you're from. I guess that's not true for me. There goes the Enigma Force, which I hope means the crisis is over, man. That was intense. How'd you handle it?
Not half as well as you. Come on, let's figure out how to get all these folks home.
Oh boy, are they desperate,
You're
dude.
so cool.
You're so cool, Miles. You're so much better than me, who is Peter Parker, and you can see my face, so you know I'm Peter Parker. That wasn't done intentionally. No, it wasn't.
Oh, can I smooch your crotch, Miles?
What? Hey, hold on. Back it up.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Yeah. A little too far.
A little bit too far. But that's the essence of this article. Boy, are they desperate.
And did he have to call him amazing?
It's an amazing fantasy. He's probably having it.
He could have said something like that was ultimate or something. I don't know. Just a thought.
That is what we call cringe, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Anybody else have any comments on this? Hey, go ahead, Duel.
And to do it when he's not even representing himself and his own powers.
Yeah,
it's what they're calling here the Enigma Force, but what I would call Captain Universe Force. It's just dumb. That's just dumb.
It is.
That's
dumb.
it.
Yeah. March Hare over here says it's the main reason I'm skipping into the Spider-Verse, the Antifa supporter. I think you mean you're skipping the watching it. I'm assuming. Please clarify.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
I'm skipping watching it.
Into the universe, Spider-Verse rather. That's the thing.
Oh, I get it. Yeah, but that Antifa thing is certainly an issue for me. Also, I'm really not interested in diversity Spider-Man. It doesn't, if they had taken Miles and he'd come in from his universe, being the Spider-Man there, which cool, and they brought him into our universe, and then he took up another name, I think that you would have solved a lot of issues. But by him being Spider-Man, it's a problem for me anyway.
Yeah. And here's another thing. There at the end, he says, well, you handled that better than I did. Okay, that's not necessarily Spider-Man admitting that Miles Morales is a better hero. What we're calling that is where you're just trying to be nice to somebody, right? He just wants to say, hey, man, you did a great job. You handled that better than I did. Even though he's the older, wiser, better Peter Parker, you lift other people up around you. That's what I'm calling that.
Yep. Kenneth Brown says, I mean, it's better than the Peter Parker and Miles romance ship that's been going around. Now, I didn't know what ship was until last week because Booster explained to me what a ship is, and ew. I just say ew. All right, what is wrong with these damn millennials? You young people are twisted. There's something broken and deviant in the modern young people's brains, man. Ship. And what was that other one I got taught by Tug the other day was map. Oh God.
Oh yeah,
No, that is me and Thundero taking our axes and going to work is what that is. Goodness gracious. Eric Boyd is in here. Hello, Eric. Miles Morales, the better Spider-Man. Oh, for Peter's sake. Pun intended. Okay, cool. Yeah, no, it's all silly, dude. Rolling on the floor, laughing. Mr. E. Hello, Mr. E. I haven't seen you before. Marvel or DC you prefer? I like Marvel, but Deucer's certainly a DC guy. What about you other guys? What are you, Marvel or DC? No comment.
Marvel.
At this point, there's no difference in my eyes. I'm just looking for a good comics, a good story. That's all I want. Why can't you give me a good story?
I'm more of a DC guy, but I absolutely love Daredevil, and it doesn't stop me from reading Marvel.
Oh, you're by comics.
Ooh,
yeah, yes,
DeWolf.
There are only 2 comics.
There are only 2 comics, DeWolf. That's funny, dude. That's hilarious.
Yeah. I don't lean either way. I don't have allegiance. I allege to, quality stories. And
they call that polyamorous.
They call it
it's comics curious.
Comic fluid.
Ooh,
comics fluid. Yes.
Back in my day, we just call it androgyny, but whatever. So let's see here. I see that Jimmy says he's with Marvel, and then for some reason he says to Chester, "Us Ricans do it better." Okay. Us Islanders do better. I don't know what you guys are talking about. I feel left out of the conversation. Let's see.
Nothing important.
Yeah, I know. All right, cool. Well, that's enough for this article, but it's just, man, they're so desperate, dude. It's not good. This one is Denali.
When Jimmy Olsen sleeps with Brian Bendis recons Jeff Johns and Richard Donners in today's Action Comics.
Oh, I really
1006.
Really want to kick this guy. I mean, first of all, Jimmy Olsen sleeping with anybody is odd. It's not the character, for one. Jimmy Olsen sleeping with Talia al Ghul is really dumb. And leave Richard Donner alone. Yes, he should be.
Should he be picky by now?
Yes,
Why?
He should be.
He's been sort of a, if you were his brother, you'd be like, yeah, go for it.
No, I would not. I would say death is ensuing. Richard Donner also leave him alone. Quit picking on Richard Donner. It's enough. It's enough. I'm gonna send a tweet to Richard Donner. I'm gonna make him a guest on the show. I'm doing it. Oh, by the way, awesome. Mel Brooks didn't respond.
Jimmy Olsen sleeping with anyone. This little
Chester.
Oh my god!
It's the bow tie.
Talia al Ghul, one of the hottest chicks in DC, a villainess, reducing herself to Jimmy Olsen.
See, and look, no, scroll up.
The woman who checked the back.
Look at the notes, the message note. Talia al Ghul called 9:15. Talia al Ghul called, and she's been calling him.
Or she's just trying to get in touch with him. He's too much of a player to answer her back. That's what they're saying. The end is coming.
So much
You're right.
Talia al Ghul is lying around going, I hope Jimmy calls me back. Oh, jeez.
It's so stupid. Now, on the other hand, though, the second part of this article is actually kind of cool. We all know this cover, of course, the very first Action Comics, which introduced Superman. Famous cover, worth a lot of money, 10 cents. Pretty cool. And what they've done here... I wish I had a copy of it. I have a digital copy.
Nicolas Cage owns a copy of issue 1.
Oh, cool. Yeah, why not, dude? He got the money.
I mean, yes, yep.
Yeah, it was stolen.
Oh yeah, but also the problem with Nick Cage is that's the reason why he keeps doing all these stupid movies is because he buys castles all over the world. I'm not joking. Nick Cage has an addiction to buying castles. It's weird. But this little strip here called The Car is talking about what happened to the car, who was involved, and how the guy turned his life around. I thought it's cute. It's a cool little thing, man. I liked it. Did you guys?
I remember the story.
Yeah. What do you guys think about this one?
Yeah, it showed, quintessential Superman giving him a chance to say, "Hey, turn your life around."
Yeah.
And he did.
That's awesome. Anytime you can take one little piece of something that's just out of nowhere, and build a story out of that and connect it, to a greater story that we are already know and love. It's kind of Easter eggy and stuff. I eat that up. I think that's cool.
Yeah, no, I love this little stuff. This is what we want. We want this kind of love and attention, right? Marchez says, "What the f? Talia is a man-eater. No way Jimmy is getting with her." Argo says, "Jimmy visits the same cave as the Batwang." Okay, I guess we're gonna have to call him Jimmy Wang. Ooh, that was a good joke.
Oh,
Jimmy.
An attention.
By the way, this artist,
not really, no.
One of the best artists in comics.
Jimmy Wang, yeah. E. Ortiz says, "Chester trained Jimmy Olsen well." I did.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Once again, Denali is just ignoring you. It's the way it is, Todd. I'm sorry. Jimmy Olsen stories. Like, yeah, these guys are in here. But anyway, wow, whatever. Here, what's my time looking like? All right, let's see. We'll just do quick announcements on the next couple ones, okay? This one right here. We have Bruce Campbell will host Ripley's Believe It or Not. 1, Ripley's Believe It or Not is coming back, which is always fun. And 2, Bruce Campbell. Everyone bow. I want to hear your bows.
Hail to the king.
Hail to the king. Now, Bruce Campbell is awesome. So we're looking forward to this. They had his Evil Dead TV series, which ended last year, but that was a lot of fun. Bruce Campbell's always fun. This guy is just so laid back and just cool. This is what it means to be cool, is Bruce Campbell. This right here is another one that... why, Denali? Why is this story here?
Because it's a comic, and it's the Punisher, and they're rethinking of Jigsaw, internalizing his brokenness instead of showing it like the Rick Girl comic in front of his face. So they're just, the whole article is just justifying why the actor is not going to have prosthetic and look like his face has been torn up.
Yeah,
he's just going to be broken inside because he's discount.
But this show is done though. It's not going to go anywhere. It looks like they're going to push forward their last season of it, but it's done. That's probably because it's in the can.
Right.
You guys said, "Oh, Daredevil's really good," and I go watch it, and then there's an episode where Kingpin walks through the past of Bullseye's life. He just somehow was like watching almost in a weird, like with no powers, nothing whatsoever.
Wow, that just went over your head, Todd. Okay, what happened was he had all the details delivered to him, all the files, cassette tapes, and stuff. And the idea is Kingpin is reading all the files, he's listening to all the tapes, and in his genius, that's right, because he's a genius.
Yeah.
And we're just seeing the life of Bullseye through the eyes of his research, which I thought was brilliant.
Would you have rather seen a scene of him just reading files, Todd? Is that what you liked?
No,
and it's just in silence. It's just a scene of Kingpin, 2 hours, just reading files. Is that what you have liked?
Yes.
Impro dedicated to that.
That's what he wants. He just wants to see Kingpin just turning the page menacingly.
No, the problem that Todd has with that scene is that the viewpoint is in the same room. If they would have pulled that back and you could have watched him in a long shot going through those notes and watching that develop in that through a flashback, then that would feel more like you could understand it.
You know that the long shot costs money.
Yeah.
We didn't have money for a long shot. So.
By the way, Booster, I was drinking coffee when you said that. You almost killed me. God.
Todd's giving us a look.
Oh, jeez. All we needed was Wayne to show up and just be like,
that's true. That would have solved it, huh?
Exactly.
But
that would have been better.
Exactly.
That's what was happening in that scene, Todd. Just, to help. We're here to help you out, Todd. We are.
No, I got it, but it was just a little weird that he was.
Yeah. Okay.
The way he was.
Yeah, I thought it was genius, but we can agree to disagree. How about that? Okay. This story means nothing because Punisher is dead after this season anyway, so I don't know why we're even. Yeah. Who cares? Now this, on the other hand, this is going to take a conversation, and I don't know. We might go a little late today because can't go too late, but might go a little bit late because this right here, I think, deserves a deep dive. Go ahead and tell them about it, Denelli.
Well, Donny Crates comes out against Comicsgate over Venom argument from Bleeding Cool, so it's going to be spent heavily. But I am sure a lot of people have already heard of this news either through Twitter, through Tugs, or other streamings or channel sources that's been already talking about this. I just feel like there's not really much to add, at least on my part, but I'll listen to you guys give your thoughts on this.
Well, actually, for me, the whole Donny Cates part of this story is not what caught my eye. Donny Cates, people have always kind of said he's Comicsgate or whatever. He's Comicsgate friendly. A lot of Comicsgaters like him, I guess, buy his stuff, whatever. And of course he gets in a little argument here. He comes out against Comicsgate, and he just gets more and more and more into it. And then you see that these rainbow flags start coming in, and they basically start chastising him. Well, why didn't you do this a year ago? It's too late. You are tainted. We hate you forever. Is basically what they're doing. So he loses and loses and then loses again. So this idiot just put himself on the blacklist of everybody, which is once again, get woke, go broke. Shut your mouth. Get off of Twitter, you moron. Right? That's what this comes down to. But and I have some other point I want to make here. Let me make it real quick, and then I'll let everybody else give their opinion on whatever they'd like to. The interesting thing for me in this article was they tell who he is, and the superficial surface qualities. Like this article sit here talking about comics, or rather recognize politics in comics that they couldn't recognize in their comics they read as a kid. That is not true. We're well aware there was politics in comics since the beginning. We're just talking about the difference between it is the politic happening to the character, or is the character preaching to you about the politic? That is the difference, right? And they are against people being hired for what they see as superficial surface qualities. So, okay, changing the gender of a character that's been around 60 years is superficial. Is that what you're telling me? Okay. When
apparently.
Apparently. But they come down in here, and this is where it gets really interesting. And rather than addressing problems with distribution, price points, the draw of other media for both readers and creators, a monopolistic distribution market, Diamond, and the decline of print, deciding that it's all down to whether Thor is a woman for a bit or not for a bit. Well, do keep in mind, they said when they changed Thor to woman that was permanent, and they weren't going to change it to go to hell. That's what they told us.
Yeah.
Right? Wanting comics to become insular, only serve an existing audience rather than trying to find new readers to replace the ones dying off. Well, first of all, Bleeding Cool. Once again, you missed the plot. It just went right over your damn head, okay? Because, first of all, we are absolutely addressing these problems. Distribution, how often do we talk about that here? Price points all the time. It's too damn expensive. We've talked about bringing things back down to newsprint and stuff like that. The draw of other media for both readers and creators. We talk about the web comics. We talk about all this stuff all the time. We talk about Diamond and what can be done, and competitors coming in and trying to, compete against them to make the market better and to make Diamond better. The decline in print, deciding et cetera, et cetera. We talk about all this stuff all the time. What are you talking about, Bleeding Cool? Are you really this dense? Are you really this dense? Right? But they keep going on, talk about, diversity, and we're a bunch of Nazis, women haters, which has nothing to do with the point. These are the points that we've been harping on for a long time, right here. This is what we're on about. We're also on about bad writing, bad stories, and just bastardizing characters for no good reason other than political points. This is what we talk about. This is what many of the channels in the extended Comicsgate family talk about. So, go to hell, Bleeding Cool. Go straight to hell, you bastards. Anyway, that's my opinion.
Ding, ding.
Is that it? All you got?
That's all I got. I could go more, but I'm pulling it back, Go ahead, Tom.
Oh, dear.
This guy shot himself in the foot, basically.
Yep.
And he was writing a very good story. I mean, honestly, if they were going to do a Venom movie, the second version of it or whatever, his story would have been, or parts of it would have been perfect for it. It really sort of the best character-driven story of Venom that's ever really happened. He honestly, to me, he's always been sort of a misused character. I mean, they put him in space, they put him in a Punisher sort of war machine armor, and just weird stuff they've done with him. But this was really actually kind of cool.
Which goes again to one of our things that we've been talking about, the need for strong editors to kind of help these creators along, which we don't really see in these two companies. Or, the editors are trying to fulfill an agenda instead of trying to fulfill a good story and what's the best interest of the story instead of the driven base issues. So that's another point. We need better editors to kind of help the story along and say, hey, this will make the story better. And I said, hey, we need to get some points for the non-existent audience that's out there.
Pixel?
Get woke, go broke.
Thank you.
Yep.
There, that's straight to the point.
It's
all right.
Go ahead, Booster.
I might end up ruffling a few feathers of this one.
Go right ahead, dude.
So I do apologize. Why do we care if Donny Cates comes out against us? Really?
We don't care one way or the other.
I don't feel we should. Did anyone really expect that Donny Cates was going to come out as pro Comicsgate? Right? I think the notion of that is just silly to me. Of course, he's going to be. Their little club is tightly knitted industry, right? And I'm sure that these people have a lot of insiders who have their own opinions. But who is going to publicly come out on Twitter as pro Comicsgate? It has career suicide in the comics industry at the moment, right?
Yeah.
And if we keep this this kind of behavior up, we're going to get like people like Brian Edward Hill out against us. And all that Comicsgate is really about is that we want better comics, right? And if Donny Cates is providing us with the good comics, I don't feel that it's necessary to go out and say to him, screw you, I'm not buying your comics anymore because you said nasty things about our little club, right? That's silly to me. I feel if he keeps putting out a quality product, we should keep rewarding him with our money and rewarding all the places that everyone who's making good comics, right? And punish the ones by not giving them money for the people who are making crap comics, particularly the ones with the progressive agendas. If he's not putting his politics into the comics, I don't feel that we should pull support from him just because he said nasty things about our club.
Yeah.
Right. But here's another side to the coin. Part of the issues, one of the, I guess, cornerstone of our ideals is good customer service. And with him going against Comicsgate, he's exhibiting poor customer service, which has been recurring a lot and kind of driving a good segment of the reading audience away from these comics. So that's the other argument that's being had. It's like, do we still, if you're writing good stories, do we still support you if you're providing a bad experience customer service wise? I think, could he have gone a different way? Yes.
Well, he ended up getting the SJWs on him as well, which is always what happens, right? But you see right here, you have this Comics Down has a very positive comment about him. There's a very positive comment here about him. Thor Odinson has a very positive comment about him here. And then I guess this is what sparked it. This Raven, Don Cates, seriously, when is your run over? When can we give Venom back to someone who doesn't suck again? Or is at least not so far out of touch with the character that Clintar would be closer than his head up his own boob. Okay. So
Donny Cates was probably better off saying nothing. Yeah, because he's pleased nobody with this comment.
Who cares?
Everyone's against him.
Well, yeah, but who cares? I mean, so one person said something to you. So what, dude? And then boom, it starts. And he's very, very salty, as they always are. Worry not. I'm here for a long time. Glad you're enjoying the run so much. Sarcastic. And then boom, here it goes. Boom, 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 right? And,
if we keep exhibiting bad behavior ourselves, I feel that I don't blame some of these people for coming out against Comicsgate. That's
well, see, the thing is,
comment right there.
But who says that Raven is a Comicsgate or a Comicsgate affiliate? Who said so?
Of course, he's just one guy.
Yeah, I mean, who cares, right?
Yeah,
and this person has a right to their opinion anyway. But for me, the whole thing with Donnie, this isn't the thing for me. For me, it is once again these jerks coming in here trying to twist it back onto something it's not. That's what it was for me. But go ahead, Todd.
Well, I agree a little bit with Booster because, I
like being agreed with.
These guys attack a group, and I'd be all for people going after their own attacker, whoever it may be, whether it's a person or it's a even if it is a group of people, like the sort of what's going on with the war campaign and stuff. If you attack the the people that are oppressing you or saying negative things about you, I don't really have a problem with that. But when you just start lobbing insults or lumping us all into some kind of group, it's like nobody's sitting here with a sign going, all these evil words I say, they're in the name of, Comicsgate, because nobody's doing that. You have knuckleheads. You cannot get rid of knuckleheads. So if a knucklehead's attacking you, attack him back. But don't just assume he's part of some group or he's the voice of our group, because hate speaks hate.
That's right.
No, yeah,
and
so I'm not really for it. And there was one thing I did say during that whole thing, and it was to Ryan Otley, who made a comment like, "Hey, do you need help? I'll get involved too." And I was like, with the sales that you had, I think you just better sit back and just enjoy the ride, because his sales on Amazing Spider-Man are the worst ever in the history of the book.
Wow.
It hurts me just hearing that.
Yeah.
Especially as I like Spider-Man. Yeah. Ugh, it hurts me hearing that.
DeWolf?
Well, now if I'm correct, this all started in something that was not in that comics game realm. And what I'm talking about is like the Twitter stuff, right?
Yeah.
First it started in one area and it was okay, and then all of a sudden someone then throws out this idea of, oh, well, Donnie, what do you think about Comicsgate, right? And does that mean that you actually back them? Are you like them, right? So they want to then start taking someone who is in the industry, which is interesting because all of the Comicsgate creators went through this a year ago. So if you're Donnie Cates, you've got to already know this process, and you have to understand where you are already sit, and whether or not what your argument is going to be. Are you with them, or are you not, right? And so, of course, right, as he's being attacked, he's going to do, if you're in with that group, or you think you might be with it, whether you agree with them or not, just because you want to be in the same coffee house with them, right? You have to do that crowd mentality and go, oh, no, of course not Comicsgate, because of the spin. And that's what I constantly am hating about what I see about these arguments, is because in one sentence there's a pretty good definition of what Comicsgate is about, right? We don't like politics and stuff. We don't like the hires issue, Don't just throw someone onto a book because they are a certain this or that. Put them on a book because they want to write the character true to the character in a creative fashion. That's the important part.
Meritocracy.
That's what you keep saying. And as much as I keep trying to look that up, I get lost because there's a lot of big words, a lot of big parts in that word. But anyway, so you get to this point where all I want is someone by on their merit, they rise higher than other people. And so then the next sentence is down. It's spun. I'm going to define Comicsgate for you, and then I'm going to spin Comicsgate and turn them and start calling them names and things. So you get a little half truth in there, and then you turn it into something that it's not. And I don't care where I see that. It just drives me furious. I want truth. I want honesty coming from people, even when they're writing stuff like articles like this. And then it comes down to the customer, right? So now you've got customers, and the customers are the ones who are buying your product or not. And we have the ability to buy anyone's product, and I don't care whose it is. It can be DC, it can be Marvel, it can be any other Comicsgate artist, right? If I see a book and I'm not interested in it, I'm going to buy it or I'm not going to buy it. No big deal. And we keep going. That's entirely what the meritocracy is all about.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
Go ahead, Janelle.
Todd put a point. Ultimately, it falls on the customer, the reader, to decide whether or not, based on whatever they read, about it, do the research. We promote that. We encourage that. Read, what these creators are saying and what, their arguments about and what their thoughts about, and then feel, can I read the book and does it align with my values? Because we want to take the agencies away from, sites like this, which are basically shortcuts. Say, here, you should read this because it's awesome, and not give any reasons for it. No, go out there, be informed, look them up, see what they're all about, and if you feel comfortable with what they're about, then go purchase them, because ultimately it's your money. You worked hard for that money, and you're going to spend it however you please. And it doesn't matter, you don't need to give us an opinion why you're not going to spend it for this person or not. If you don't feel like spending your money on a certain product, that is your right as a consumer. Point, period, end.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
there's go ahead, dude.
There's a sentence in there too that says, and they want to take it back to their childhood, and they just want to take all these things back to that. Well, no, we don't. We don't even want to just take all these characters back to our childhood. If we wanted to take these things and all these characters back to our childhood, you wouldn't see what the indie movement is bringing out in comics.
Yes,
we don't want comics like our childhood. We may enjoy some of the nostalgic ones that are like our childhood. At the same time, we're enjoying some that are far beyond our childhood. So
that's right.
Put that in your comics gate, finger pointing, and smoke it.
Okay. And also, listen to the wisdom of this bear. Stay off of Twitter. If you make the ideology of Twitter your master, it will decay you. Stay off of Twitter. It does not help you. It doesn't help anything. It is absolutely toxic. Stay away from Twitter.
That's why I flat out deleted mine. I couldn't take it. I can't be trusted with it.
And no, I didn't say ideology. I say ideology, by the way. Let me come over here to the chat. We gotta get over there to chat. Draken seems to be, he's been banging heads lately. Okay. March Hare says, Cates can eat it. I'm done with him. I was gonna pick up his Guardians of the Galaxy coming up, but I'm done with him. Okay. Well, he's shot himself in the foot.
That's your choice.
That's right.
Honestly, yeah.
I think Draken says, I think Donny Cates said something stupid, but I don't know much more than that about it. Yeah, he just got himself in a tough situation, and he decided to take a side. And in doing so, that side decided to bite him back. Ortiz says, repeats a word that I had said, which I probably shouldn't have said. And he says, hellfire from Chester. Oh, goodness. Marquez said, bring it. Okay. Draken says, yes, they are making it so that the characters' parents were not married when they were born. All of them. It's what they like. Argos Creation says, BC will always insert their liberal mantra into any and all articles they write. Jerks would know objectivity if it landed on their face. Yes, well, Bleeding Cool is certainly very one-sided political leading, and the problem that is we have others on the other side like Bounding into Comics and such, which I think they're not as bad, but they're certainly leaning the other direction. And really what we need is someone that will stick in the middle, to be honest with you. Jimmy Ortiz says, hey folks, Hulk smash that like button. Please do, man. Let's see here. March Hare agrees with him. Good evening everyone from Model 3. Dude, nice to have you in here. He says, hey Bean. They're all saying hello, Risey Lee, etc., etc. Let's see. Kenneth Brown says, gonna have to respectfully disagree on the Cates issue. I think the guy's pretty talented and been pretty tame against some of the louder voices in Comicsgate minority who give the movement a bad name. Dude, that's exactly what Denali and DeWolf just said. Exactly. You back what you want to do. You enjoy what you want to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
I'm glad to see disagreements on this issue. I like seeing all of these points, and I can see the argument for anyone who would just want to pull out entirely.
Yeah, no.
I personally wouldn't pull out of any of these good creators just because of their opinions on CG, but I can't really talk because I haven't been buying anything from Donny Cates anyway.
I see. But no, dude, absolutely, Kenneth. You keep doing what you're doing, and like I said, he has just had a bad day. Donny Cates was stupid. He should not have responded to that single comment. And of course, I find it interesting that it get twisted back onto Comicsgate because I don't. When I was looking through those tweets that are in there, I don't really see anybody I know from the community. So I don't, whatever. But
I've seen one or two.
Oh, you
somebody
did?
tell somebody tell Booster to pull out until he's a bit older.
Oh goodness!
Crazy.
Todd.
We're PG.
Oh no!
PG. Yeah. Bad.
Nick W says, "I want to take it back to my childhood with proper editorial." Yes, please. March Hare says, "Definitely." Oh, pull out the buttons chair, but it is surf and turf. Okay, I don't know what that is. I probably shouldn't read that.
We were talking about whether or not to smash the like button. I said you should treat the like button to a nice date before you smash.
Model 3 says that John Diller would like everyone to know that Chester is from Japan. Okay, thank you. Let's see here. And Jimmy Ortiz says that I is Irish knees. Okay, that works. Asuka, hey, how you doing? Use Twitter and Facebook only to follow strictly art, blogs, hobbies, etc. Social media is good for specific purposes. Yes, it is. I use Twitter all the time. I just use it as a direct message. It's kind of like a quick email is the way I use it. And there are some fun things you can do on Twitter for sure. But my point with Twitter is don't go into those toxic conversations. Stay out of it. Don't let them bait you. Stay out of it. It doesn't help you, right? March Hare says, I wasn't without sympathy for Cates, but to turn around and dig into Comicsgate kind of burnt my biscuits. Yeah, I get it, dude.
Burnt my biscuits. I got to use that one. That's brilliant.
E. Ortiz says, Chester, what do you think of Mike S. Miller postponing the release of his book so he could get Ben Shapiro to plug it in on his podcast?
No comment. This interview is over.
What do I think? I think it's probably smart. I mean, you talk about him bringing out the second Lone Star 2. Is that what you talk about, Lone Star 2?
No. Postponing the current one.
What do you mean?
Keep promoting it.
Oh, do you mean?
Yeah, so he's ready to go to print right now, but he postponed going to print and ending the campaign because Ben Shapiro started promoting him and getting the whole podcast thing and everything. I still agree with that, though. He's not really milking any more customers, he isn't milking any more from current customers. He's dragging out the time, and I understand that people are frustrated that the book hasn't been released yet, but you got to look at his situation too. If he does 2 print runs, it's going to hurt him. And if it's only a month that he's going to push it out, I think it could be okay. But I don't know. It's a hard thing, but it's capitalism. He's trying to maximize the most money he's got.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't have a whole lot of money left.
Was he upfront about it?
It sounds like it.
There's another side of this.
There's
another side of this. You guys got to realize these guys have given up their ability to ever do certain things, right? So they have to maximize. At least look back at, for the last 10 years or so, I was able to make this amount of money with my talent, and it could. This is sort of a scary future. It's going pretty good, and we're not sure how sustainable it is and how to build upon it, but we're going to try some things and stuff. So they need to make sure that they secure the ability to keep feeding their families in that sense as they did before, at least. Do you know what I mean? Because they might have mortgages that are bigger than we know. They might have things that are bigger than we know because that was the lifestyle they had, and now they've given that up.
Yeah, no, that is absolutely a good point, Todd. Absolutely. And I think Mike probably would have been a little bit better to say, hey, guys, what do you think? Doing on his channel. He might well have done that, and I don't know that. But that would have been a little bit better because I think pretty much all of us would be like, yeah, dude, go for it. If he just said, I'm doing this, it's probably not the best way to go about it. But no, dude, he needs to make money, and Ben Shapiro is like lightning in a bottle. So,
I believe that's what he did. He sent out a update to their backer and say, hey guys, I'm going to delay it because I got some opportunity. I do apologize for it, but I'm excited for this opportunity. So, please be patient for a little bit while longer.
Yeah.
There you go. It all comes down to that. it all comes down to that customer thing. It's the same thing we've been talking about with Marvel and DC. Treat the customers right, you know. And with this, the Comicsgate community, it is so much more integrated together. So you don't just have the fact that I walk in and buy something off the shelf. So much integrated together. You have to be honest with the customers, their backers even. I mean, that's a bigger deal than someone that's just buying your product. They're backing a product and then expecting you to put it out at a certain time. You have to respect that. So respect your customers, be upfront with them. That's the important part.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and I understand the frustration on the other side of it too. I do, and I think the problem, the frustration will come from this. This whole thing with the Indiegogo, the indie revival is going on. It's new, right? And it's fresh. And you know, Lone Star is the very first book from Mike. So because of that, people having to wait any longer might get frustrated. But I understand what Todd said is a very good point. I understand Mike's point of view on it. And you know, I get it, but some people might not. And you know, it is what it is. PS Melter's here. Hello, PS Melter. Asuka says, is this the year the Main Street comics industry dies? Do you guys have an estimate amount of time before the thing collapses? I think it's going to change. I think that's for sure.
I don't think it'll flat out die. I think saying that is silly. I think these characters are way too big for it to just happen.
I think it's going to change to something different than what it was.
I think so, yeah.
Because that's the nature of things.
March Hare says, I'm cool with Mike getting the plug. It's good business sense. But I understand the frustration. Yeah, we're the same place, dude. Let's see. Holding on to something. Lone Star, if the minimum has a PDF digital copy, he should send it out if it's done rather than waiting. Oh, that's a good idea. He could send the PDF out to the purchasers. That's not a bad idea. Although Jimmy doesn't agree. He says, I tell you what, I will not order the next Lone Star. Well, that's cool, dude. Draken's got to leave.
That's not cool.
Oh, no, so March Hare says, got to go. Oh, hey, no, dude. Everyone has their own opinion. They can do what they want. Bye, March Hare. He sent an email. Let's see. Chester has he lost 3 future customers in this chat alone. Yeah, well, I understand. And that's why I made the point of, because this thing is new. And this is the very first thing Mike's done, and he's holding back sending it. I get the frustration. I get. If this we talk about Lone Star 2 or something in the future, people will be like, that's cool, I think. But I get the frustration. But it is what it is. The dude's got to think about his future. He's got to try to make more money off of it. And if the Ben Shapiro thing can pull in, you got to think of it this way too. If the Ben Shapiro thing can pull in a few thousand people into the community to start looking at what's going on in here and backing stuff, that's a good thing for the whole process, dude. Because understand that Ben Shapiro could move millions of people, right? And if we could pick up just a few thousand of them that come over here and get interested, wow, dude, that's something, right?
Or at least have the conversation started, you know.
And it might also open up the opportunity for Mike or somebody else to go on to Ben Shapiro and have a conversation about what is going on in the community. Because Ben Shapiro would certainly cover the political side of that, seeing as he would agree 100% with pretty much everything we said, right?
Yeah.
So
that's a very good point.
Send them your PDFs. That's what I would do. Send him your PDFs. Maybe he'll like it. You know what I mean?
There's something to be said for the reactions in the Comicsgate fans, right? Because there's various frustrations across the board, and one of those is the fact of when the books, you know, are coming out or not, and that has to be addressed. You've got to really be nice and humble, and the more small issues kind of mound up, and each individual person has their small issues, and they have to be, and I would think they would have to be addressed. You're not going to please everybody all the time, but you as a creator should go right after those issues as they're coming up and publicly work with those, you know, things. And that's something that hasn't, kind of from what I've seen, and I stay off of Twitter, so I don't know the Twitter stuff and all these other little concepts that are going on throughout Comicsgate. But when it does come to your biggest person, and that is the fans. That's what drove Comicsgate in the first place. You have to definitely keep right there and try to explain to people in the nicest ways, where you're at, what you're going with your campaign and with getting the comic out.
Yeah. And Draken makes a very good point here. I think also that he got a little bit screwed with the Meg because there's a lot of people acting like he did something wrong. That's a fair point, though, Draken. I mean, he came out with his Meg thing to try to pick up some more cash, and but he hadn't put Lone Star out yet, and people were like, "Hey, deliver what you said first before you do the next thing." Yeah, I get the argument. I do. And it's just about, I think what it comes down to is this. Do you support what's going on in this community, and therefore, as a backer for a Kickstarter, because that's what Indiegogo is, it is a Kickstarter. If you're here to back that, then the concept is you are supporting the concept and trying to push it forward. You are not buying stuff. Indiegogo is not a store. You are here to support a concept and push it forward. And if you look at it like that, you think like that, then it being a little bit late or then doing various little maneuvers or juggling, try to get the most profit and aspect out of it, then you understand, because you're here to support the concept. We're not sitting here buying a book. That is what the whole point of these Kickstarter or crowdfunders are about. So for me, I have no problem with it. I'm cool. You try to make all the money you can, man, because I want Mike to be successful going into the future. And we're building the foundation of it right now. This is foundation building, guys. If we're talking 5-6 years from now and this kind of stuff is still going on, it's a problem. But right now we're trying to create something. And that takes a little bit of patience and a little bit of endurance and loyalty, right?
You know who does not have that? That's the other side.
Absolutely.
SJWs don't have loyalty. They don't have patience, and they don't have that. And you can see that with, I'm going to bring out Mark Waid, right? Mark Waid came out with the worst types of things, and even they decided, hey, we need to distance ourselves from them. And, if that happens here, well, then it's unfortunate for those people who can't hold their tongue, and try to be a more positive a feature of the community.
Yeah, and Pixel makes a good point here that he should have said on the stream. I believe he gravely overestimated his ability to manage all the moving parts at the same time. I'm sure he did. It's a learning process, and the kinks will be worked out. Yeah, guys, you just need to keep in mind what this is. This is not a store. Indiegogo is not a store, guys. This is a building of something new. Are there going to be little bumps here and there? Well, yeah, of course. Now, if you're saying that he's being greedy, well, then you don't understand the idea of capitalism, right? And you also don't understand the concept of trying to create a universe, which Mike is trying to do, which Ethan is trying to do, Doug, etc. Mitch. They're all trying to create a base of which they can build off of, and we need to support that. That's how I think.
Yeah, did you hear that little by Todd? Because he knows that's what I preach too.
Yeah, well, I
mean, I'm not saying anything.
But no, you're right, because if you want a sustainable book, as far as like if you're going to build a universe and say Lone Star is supposed to go to issue 10, and there's other books that he actually has some guys that you don't know about that are actually going to be coming into this side of things and doing parts of his universe. He's hiring other artists. That's the thing. They're not taking their money and running. They're taking their money and going, I have to create something here that is sustainable. What's the best way to do it? So we're going to try some things, and we're going to do this, and we're going to do that. We're going to maneuver here. And so if that means jobs, then you should be all for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's America.
Yeah.
He's trying to create jobs.
One of the things that EVS said on his resolutions after the normal ones, he threw in the one for Comicsgate, and that was to push more other independent creators. And I thought, wow, that's one of the most commendable ones, besides just the average old get in shape.
I think Nick W has a very interesting comment here. He says, this reminds me of a scaled-down Image Comics 1992. Missing deadlines in the short term were hurt in the long term. Yeah, no, I understand all that, guys, but what's happening here is very different than what happened with Image. This is a ground up thing. Those guys went over as a ground down thing. They took their money and they took their chance and they put something straight out to you. This is not what's happening here. What is happening here is they've come to us and they said, hey, you know, you guys want better comics, you want these new things, we're willing to do it. And we, the fans, the community came together and said, you know what, we're going to support that. This is where it's coming from. And of course, it's going to be a little bit slower and a little bit bumpier of a ride because, I mean, how do you think they feel? Think about Mike and Ethan and Mitch and all those guys. Think about what the position they're in, just like Todd had said. They have put their careers on their line. Art T. Bear left the comic book world and came over here. They put their careers on the line, and for us to sit because we said we're going to support you, we're going to help you, and we need to continue to do that. If we get upset every time there's some little bump in the road, this is no good. This is no good. Now you can agree or disagree. You can do whatever you want, you know. But I'm just saying, look at it logistically. Understand what is going on here, right? And they have to think about their families and themselves because, you know, right now this is a new thing. It is not complete, and they don't know what the future holds. They have no idea if they'll have the ability to sell or do things in the future. We need to sit here and we need to continue supporting them because that's what we said we were going to do. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm here for the long haul.
Yeah, well, it's called a campaign. It's called an Indiegogo campaign for a reason.
Yep.
And in the end, the fan can vote the way they want to vote. And if the listeners and anyone else in the community in the chat, you know, they make a decision, that is their decision. And, you know, we don't fault you for that. It comes down to those people that are campaigning, like any other politician, comes down to how they campaign to try to get your vote. And good luck to everybody.
Yeah, and I see Jimmy's comment over here. It's a really good one, Jimmy. But if you keep your word, if you fail to deliver, it's not good business. You're right. If they do not deliver, if we do not get books, this is a big, big, big problem. You're right, dude. Yeah. And Art did leave.
They'll screw it up for everybody.
Yeah, they will. And I think they know that. All actions have consequences, and Mike and them knew what they were in for. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. And all I'm saying is a little bit of patience. Now, for me, maybe it's a little easier because for many of you guys, I think this is possibly a new thing. I've said this many times before, but I'm coming from Kickstarter in the board gaming world, and I've been through all of this stuff about a decade ago. But I'm saying I know what's happening here because I've seen it happen before. And just be patient because the same thing happened with board games. And there was a lot of this kind of, you know, people worrying about things being on time and all this kind of stuff. But eventually it's become this smooth, beautiful, golden age of board games. It's absolutely gorgeous what's going on in the board game world. And I'm telling you, if we have some patience and we stick with these guys and we support these guys, it's going to happen here too. That's what I'm saying. You know. Wow.
Agreed.
Yeah. No.
What?
Yes.
There's a lot to it. I'm thinking about it. I was just reading Model 316's comment too about he's not here to make 3 people wealthy, and I agree with that. And I don't think we're here just to make 3 people wealthy. I think it's I came up with the process for Indicron to build it up as a bigger platform to help the smaller guys out. It wasn't to help the big guys. The big guys don't need the help. But
true.
The overall, I think part of the message or part of the situation here is that whether people like it or not, Comicsgate is, above all else, it's a political movement. People say, "Oh, we don't want politics. We don't want politics." But as soon as you say we are anti-SJW, we are anti-politics in our book, we are taking a political stance against a certain thing.
That's right.
And our backing of these books is kind of like making a political donation. And I know we are buying books, and yes, these guys, I'm disappointed in EVS, disappointed in Mike in the fact that they didn't project their time correctly. But at the same time, they had been working with publishers and other companies for such a long time, they had never handled that entire process on their own, and they were far too optimistic with it. I think they've learned their lesson. Hopefully, I think they will properly estimate their books in the future. But this first run is just going to be. I almost used a bad word. Cluster cluck. It's a mess right now. And
some
of the other guys were smarter about it and projected way out. But we'll just have to wait and see.
I hope Cluster Cluck becomes like a villain in Red Rooster. That would be incredible.
That would be cool.
The Cluster Cluck.
I like that.
Yeah. And once again, I get that concept of you're not here to make 3 people wealthy. I get you, dude. And you know, with Indicron here at Pixel, the whole thing we've been saying from the beginning is we need to take the burden off those 3 guys and try to find another place where everyone could come and support and help things. Help the cream rise to the top, right? And Indicron is that vehicle, right? That's what we've been saying for months, right? And but I understand the concept you're saying here in Model 3. And the way I would look at it is that whole concept of rising tide rises all boats, you know, that type of thing. And you know, if these guys are successful, it creates more opportunity for everybody. But to be honest with you, most of the books that I'm most excited about aren't coming from those guys anyway. There's a lot of cool indie books that are coming out from smaller people that are really exciting. But
there's some really cool ones, yeah.
Yeah, but their success helps everything. Is kind of the point. So I kind of understand all points, man. I understand all points, and but I'm just saying that I'm here to support the concept of what's going on in this indie revival, and I understand that there will be some mistakes and silliness, and I really wish some of the, especially some of the bigger guys, would stay off the damn Twitters and quit banging heads and concentrate on what's going on here. But once again, I don't control them; they can do whatever they want to do. But yeah, I understand every point that everyone is making, but it just I really want to see this successful, you know.
Yeah, there's something that Pixel said, and that was that it's a political movement, and
yeah.
I dare to say that it's a cultural movement. There's not really a politics, and there's not a political platform that's involved, but there's a cultural platform, a cultural ideologies that are at stake here,
yeah,
and that are trying to be changed and manipulated. So I think it's a cultural movement, and part of that is also that the creators have to come out with books that are good, right? When we pour them into them, hopefully that when that tide rises, it's also a good tide, right? It's not a crappy tide, because if that happens, then the boats are going to sink. They're going to get mired down in a mucky tide. So we want them to be good books, and that's another thing too that as you start seeing what happens, and part of that rising tide, whether or not they're good books or not, is whether or not there's positivity still in the movement. Because when you combine that with the culture aspect, we don't want a Comicsgate that is a culture of negativity, infighting, other SJW type nonsense that I've seen people pointing fingers and saying, well, are you even Comicsgate? What the heck? When Comicsgate people start looking at other people and saying, well, are you even Comicsgate, even though you're here? Well, of course, everyone that's having the finger pointed at them, every fan that doesn't want to buy a book on the shelf because it's West Coast Avengers, number 1 now, right? Yeah, we're Comicsgate, you know, and get over that, you know, and however we disagree and however we interact with each other, you know, stop it. We don't want the muck. We don't want a mucky culture. We want a good culture in which everyone is supported and helped, and that's part of Pixel's thing. You know, when that creator pops up and says, "Oh, hey, you know, I got this book and I want to put this out and I think it's great and awesome and I want you to, you know, buy it for a whole bunch of money," and then we look at it and go, "Well, let's look at the quality and let's make some adjustments, make some edits, and then we'll put you on to Indicron so that so that you will look good." That's the thing too. You know, Pixel wants to do things where he wants to make the creators look good. And I think that's just awesome. I can't have more praise for what Pixel's been doing.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. And I see a lot of disagreement, and I see a lot of stuff over here in the chat, and that's cool, dude. That this helps us to have a better understanding of each other and the various things that are going on. And I think that Todd's point is a very good one.
He could have maybe capitalized this even more by actually just going, you know what? I remember Ethan did a second cover that was benefited cancer and did that. He could have done something like the Ben Shapiro edition or something. He could even brought even more recognition. if he had just stopped, think like, how could I do this? Maybe can I get his permission to put his name to this and this, that, and the other thing?
Cool.
And had a tier for Ben Shapiro. You know, it could have been huge. So did he really capitalize on it, or did he just go, you know, yeah, okay, you brought me some more, you know, cachet, so let me put the book, let me make it available. Because you know, it could be said that maybe he didn't go all the way with it.
That's
that
a good
idea. He could
idea.
have done even more.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. But I think another problem that DeWolf touched on is the fact that, you know, some of us older guys, we're not, or I don't know, I shouldn't say that. Just some of us are not involved in the social media. So we're not part of that. But I think a lot of people over here are part of this social media thing that has sprung up over the past decade or so. And the social media thing is all about yelling and screaming at each other and making your point as loudly as you can and saying whatever nasty, horrible thing you can because the person is to sit in front of you and you know right well you wouldn't do because you get your nose broke. Right? And this is the nonsense we see all the time on the social media. And I think a lot of people are just stuck in that mode. I would ask you to try to be a little bit more, you know, of the world about it instead of this toxic social media world, because that's not reality, guys. That's not the way it works in real life, right? And maybe we should take a little bit more time to think about, you know, what is happening in the real world and how we can make a better change for that. You know,
right? And then ultimately, you know, it's your money. You know, and you decide whether it's worth it to maintain it or not. You're the investors. You know, when the company talks about shareholders and investors, you know, you're kind of buying the shares and you're kind of waiting for the payout, which is the book. So it's up to you as the investor, as the consumer, as the customer to decide ultimately whether you want to back it, whether you want to stay with it, or whether you want to pull out, get a refund. It's you're right as a consumer.
And gracious.
Sorry.
but that's the ultimate. That's the bottom line. Aside of everything else, this is a consumer-led movement. There's a lot of points on both sides that we totally agree with. We totally understand that, you know, if you tell the consumers, we're going to have this project by this date, by this time, you know, you should definitely keep your words. You know, there's a lot of people who share that sentiments. There's other people that we get, you know, are giving a pass to that deadline because this is their first time around doing something like this. And there's people who, kind of like Chester, has experiences and has known about it. So there's different levels, and it's up to you as the individual to decide, you know, where you stand on it, and, you know, be informed, read it up, and decide, you know, how you want to proceed. It's your money ultimately. You decide. That's your choice as a consumer. And we, top of everything, we don't want to take anything of your agency. We just want you to keep you as informed as possible. And it's up to you to decide whether the information is helpful or not to you. And that's our stance on this.
Amen.
Or my stance, at least.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, guys, wow, what a conversation. I had another story I wanted to get to, but we can't do it. We'll have to do it tomorrow. But because that's a fun, another one, the last one we had for today was actually fun. But nevertheless, we certainly got to get out of here because we do have the Pro Edition coming up, and that's a lot of fun. And of course, I have to go over and do my responsibilities on that. But interesting conversation. I think it's going to continue. I'd say the main thing is that we all agree and disagree on various different points. But I think the one thing,
and that's okay.
And that's okay. And we're all here to support each other and to try to enjoy what's going on. So, you know, thank you guys for your opinions. Thank you for being here. Keep giving your opinions. Once again, keep in mind, you can come up and over here and sit with us and give your opinions directly. You know this, right? This is an open channel, guys. It's open. come over here and sit down with us and have a conversation. You know what? We may agree or not agree or disagree, but we're not going to hate you for it. We're not going to yell and scream at you. We're going to have a conversation, and we're going to still be the same friends we were as we were before, maybe even better.
Right.
Because we're not unreasonable jagoffs.
Actually, I'm going to say nasty things behind your back once this is done.
Well, that's just Booster. But no, seriously, guys.
But the conversation helps us look at things.
God. Can you believe what Chester said? He's so stupid.
No. But no.
But yeah, it's going to help us. All this conversation is going to help us because those are concerns for the next campaign, for the future, for the infrastructure that we're slowly building. And because we are talking about fulfillment, we are talking about printers, we are talking about how to lower the cost, because that's been one of the main issues that a lot of us. I mean, I saw E. Ortiz says 20 plus campaigns. Hey, I'm 40 plus over here. So, I have the same concerns, but I'm holding tight, with a lot of the campaigns and seeing what's happening, because I'm looking at it, and if I don't feel right about it, I'll ask directly to the campaign creators and say, hey, I don't feel right about it and all that, and talk to them about my concerns, have a dialogue with them as well.
Yeah.
And, but don't be, you know what? You have a voice, by the way, and use it constructively. Don't be afraid to say to a creator and say, hey, don't just show me 5 pages. Tell me that you're halfway through. You got halfway through the inks or something, and let me know that by hook or by crook you really want to get this book to the fans, whether the campaign is successful or not. If you just look like you're throwing out some sort of designs and some characters or turns and things like that, and you're asking people to support you with that, I don't know how some of you guys did it, because a lot of these books didn't have that. They didn't have 1 page done. They weren't, they were just hoping to have successful campaigns, and they were successful. So, you know what? Don't be afraid to use your weight a little bit and say, look, I want to see on the future books that are to a certain point, because I want to know that the creators' passions are there, and they want this book really to make it to market, even if it's not successful. Because this is not the only formula, right?
True.
It's not.
Right.
Yeah. And Dave says, my copy of Trump Space Force came today. Awesome. And Popefire says, a lot of people are getting pushed out. Not here. Everyone is welcome. I have 2 policies on this channel. Don't come up here cussing up a storm and being ultra vulgar. I mean, a little bit of, normal banter is fine, but don't be, cussing up a storm on this channel, and don't come over here picking fights, making drama. 2 rules. It's very simple. Everybody's welcome. Nobody's being pushed out of here at all. And this is something that I will never change, because that is beside the point when you start trying to, segregate and push things aside. Because you know who does that? You know who comes in and says that everything must be insular. It has to be what I think. If you don't think what I think, then you're out, and I'm gonna dog you and hate on you. You know who does that? SJWs do that. Stop it. It is nonsense. Everybody is welcome.
You're scaring me. Stop.
Daddy, don't hit me.
Oh, God. Come on, PG. I feel like I'm just PG, I must say. PG, I must say.
Well, you know what I mean.
Day.
Anyway, we got to get out of here, guys. Thank you all for coming. It's definitely been a very good conversation today, and we need to have more of these kind of things, guys. We love you all. We're happy that you come over here and join in with us, and we're going to keep doing this. We're going to have a great 2019. It's going to be great, man.
Right. So come up, continue having that conversation with us. Continue, we welcome that, because that's the only way we're going to really know how to move forward and to look for improvement in this upcoming years and future year, because we want to make it viable in the future. So thank you for all your comments. Thank you for allowing us the privilege to have this conversation with you. And we hope that, you continue giving us that privilege in future shows as well.
Cool. All right, guys. Well, that is all. Of course, someone over here drop Indicron in here in the chat, because you guys should definitely be supporting that. This is what is going to help the smaller creators, which is something we definitely want to do. And I don't understand why we're having so much trouble over there, but we seem to be. That's all right. And other than that, go ahead, Denelli, take us out.
As always, your perception shapes your reality. So always make it a good one.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Later, guys.
Namaste. Aloha.